Alright everybody, welcome back to the next part of my DVD collection overview. Now we're getting to the good stuff, what is probably my largest collection, because what you see here are two shelves starting here, going on here, this entire bottom shelf, plus I have another shelf of horror movies as well. So I'm probably going to do this in two parts. I'm going to make the horror movies collection a two-parter, just because it's going to take me a while to get through these, and I'm going to try to, give it to you as in short of snippets as possible, so you don't get too bored with it. So, all right, enough talking. Let's get going here with the horror section. First off is a collection, 10-movie collection of original cult classics. Most of these are really, really bad transfers. I keep this because, for two reasons. Number one, it's my only copy of Night of the Living Dead, George Romero's original movie. I need to get a better quality copy of that. It's also my only copy of The Last Man with Vincent Price. These other movies are really, really stinkers, and they're bad movies and bad transfers. So until I can upgrade The Last Man and Night of the Living Dead, I'm hanging on to that, and then I'll upgrade when I can. Here are four movie collection Turner Classic Movies: Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Freaks, The Haunting, and House of Wax. I actually got this for The Haunting and House of Wax mainly, but they're good transfers of all four of the movies. I have another copy of Freaks, and I'll tell you about that when I get there to that one as well. This is a three-movie collection of the Amityville Horror, the original Carrie, and the first Child's Play movie. So, yeah, I've got those three together. Next up, we have 13 Ghosts, which was an original 3D movie back in the day. Next we have 1408 with Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack. Yeah, great movie, wonderful movie. Next we have 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, two fabulous zombie movies. Yeah, love those. Next we have 30 Days of Night, fabulous fabulous vampire movie. Great one if you haven't seen that. Now, speaking of werewolves, we have the classic An American Werewolf in London. I'm going to change this light here again in a minute, because I still think I'm getting way too much glare off of that. Let's see if I can get that at an angle that you can see. Okay, I'm kind of having a hard time at the angle that I'm at seeing those. Here's one of my favorites, Black Christmas, one of the original slasher movies, and I believe this was from 1970. Oh, I don't see it on here. I want to say it was from 1974 or 75, something like that. But yeah, one of the original great ones there. Next we have the Blair Witch Project. I know everybody either loves this or hates this. I'm in the love it crowd. Saw it in the theater, and if you only have seen it on a small screen on DVD, you didn't see it in the theater, then you missed out, because that really captured the mood. I think you missed out on a lot. My only criterion that I have is Steve McQueen in The Blob. Love that movie. Used to play a lot on a local Saturday night horror movie program called Shock Theater. We used to see The Blob quite a bit. Next we have The Bride of Frankenstein, the first of several Universal Monster movies that you'll see. Always considered The Blob to be like a Universal Monster movie, but it wasn't. Next we have The Burning. One that has grown to be one of my favorites is Candyman with Tony Todd. Probably will watch this again for Halloween for the month of October. Next we have a Val Lewton double feature of The Cat People and The Curse of the Cat People. Cat People, great movie. Love that. And then here is the remake with Malcolm McDowell and Nastassja Kinski. Very nice. Next we have the classic George C. Scott in The Changeling. One of those found footage films, Cloverfield. Sort of a retelling on the Godzilla monster. Yeah, I liked it. A lot of people don't like it. I do admit that I do get motion sickness watching it from time to time. One of my top 10 favorite horror movies now, The Conjuring. Love this movie. Fabulous. I'll be watching that again this October as well. Another Universal monster classic, The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Gotta have that in your collection. Next up we have The Dark with Maria Bello and Sean Bean. Very underrated movie. It's got some really creepy moments in there. Next up we have the special edition of Darkness Falls. And of course, one of my favorite horror movies of all time, George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Fabulous box set. I mentioned this in a previous video about favorite Halloween movies, but this contains the U.S. theatrical version, the extended version, the European version, and then an entire disc of special features and extras. If you love Dawn of the Dead, that's the way to go. Here is the Dawn of the Dead remake, which in itself is a good movie. It's a different movie, but it's a good movie. Death Watch. Yeah, this is about, well, it's just a horror movie involving some soldiers. Very underrated movie. You don't hear talked about too much. The Descent. Very nice. Really like that one. Another underrated movie, Devil, which was not directed by, but I think produced by M. Night Shyamalan. But yeah, you wouldn't think that could make an interesting movie out of 5 people in an elevator, but it really is. It really is good. This is the original made-for-TV movie. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark with Kim Darby. Classic, man. This one, I think this came out in about 72 or 73 and had every kid scared to go to bed with that classic movie. And of course here is the Katie Holmes remake that doesn't come anywhere near the original, but still alright. Another classic, Universal Monsters, Dracula. Bela Lugosi. And here is the Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman remake. I haven't seen that in a while. I've got to pull that back out here soon. Dreamcatcher. A lot of people hating on this movie. I thought it was okay. Based on a Stephen King novel. Highly underrated movie, Schwarzenegger in End of Days. Good movie, great movie. Like that one a lot. Alright, now let's go down to the bottom shelf, and we have the Ultimate Edition of the Evil Dead. Nice boxed set that you get in that as well. Evil Dead 2. I do not have the Book of Shadows editions. Maybe someday I will purchase those, but I'm not necessarily needing to have those. Here is the Evil Dead remake. Another great one, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Love that movie as well. And of course, the classic from 1974, 73 or 74, The Exorcist. Yeah, based on William P. Blatty's novel, starring Linda Blair. Next we have all the Final Destination movies. I'm not going to pull all those out. Final Destination 2, Destination 3, the Final Destination, which ended up not being the Final Destination, but just number 4, because then they came out with Final Destination number 5. So, yes, have all the Final Destination movies. Obviously, some are better than others, but as a whole, I'm a fan of the series. I like it a lot. Next, we have the Jeff Goldblum version of The Fly. I'd like to get the original Fly someday, but I like that as well. Another John Carpenter classic, The Fog, with Jamie Lee Curtis, Adrienne Barbeau, Janet Leigh, yep, and John Houseman. The Fourth Kind, another good one. Kind of more of a sci-fi alien type horror movie. Another classic Universal monster, Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein, and of course I love those old movies. Grew up with those, great. And here's another copy of Freaks. I mentioned to you that I have this, and I mentioned in another video that this is just an amazing movie. It actually starred several real live circus, well, that was the term they used at the time, circus freaks, persons with several physical abnormalities and disabilities, born without arms, legs, etc., etc. And you know, they just could not remake that movie today in the same way. I just don't think it would be allowed to be done. I think the politically correct police would never allow such a movie to be made. But yeah, anyway, it's a great movie. You need to see it if you haven't done so. Next we have Freddy vs. Jason, as we get into the Friday the 13th movies. I just have the first 4 in a 4-pack collection. So I have Friday the 13th 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I have the Friday the 13th Killer Cut remake as well. Another classic is Fright Night that many of you guys have in your collection as well. And let's stop in this video with this nice collection of stories from Vincent Price called From a Whisper to a Scream. It has Whisper to a Scream, which is some short stories all involving Vincent Price. He sort of narrates and the movies evolve around him, plus Theater of Blood in a double feature there as well. So that brings us to the end of F and going into G. And I think that's a good place to stop. That looks like we're about halfway through the collection at this point. So that we'll call that part 1, and if you'll come back and stay tuned, we'll do part 2 next. Thanks for watching. Bye.